Ever since we've looked out at the universe and had this deep, undeniable urge to measure it, to make sense of it all. We want to chart the stars, divide the seasons, even count the things that seem uncountable. It's just this fundamental human thing, right? To put some order on all the chaos. And that quest, that drive to measure, has taken us to some seriously strange and wonderful places. It all starts with a little mystery from a few hundred years ago. So let me ask you a quick question. What happened on September 3rd, 1752? Go on, take a guess. A famous battle? A royal wedding? The answer is absolutely nothing. It's a trick question because for a huge chunk of the world, that day never happened. Neither did the next day or the day after that, for 10 straight days. For everybody living in the British Empire at the time, the calendar literally jumped from September 2nd straight to September 14th. Just look at this. 11 days were just deleted, poof, gone, wiped from existence. So where did they go? And why on earth would you do that? Well, this whole bizarre event really pulls back the curtain on a crucial truth. All of our systems for measuring reality, even something as basic as the date, they're just human inventions. And sometimes our inventions need a major software update. See, for centuries, most of the Western world ran on the Julian calendar, the one introduced by none other than Julius Caesar. And it was a good system, don't get me wrong, but it had this one tiny little flaw. It was based on the idea that a year, one full trip around the sun, was exactly 365 and a quarter days long. The problem is, the real solar year is just a little bit shorter than that. That tiny miscalculation meant the calendar was adding just a few too many leap days over the centuries. Now, a tiny error like that doesn't sound like a big deal, right? But it really added up. By the year 1582, the calendar was off by 10 whole days. Easter was starting to drift away from the spring equinox. So Pope Gregory XIII stepped in and introduced the Gregorian calendar. The fix was super clever. You just skip the leap year on any century that you can't divide by 400. That little tweak fixed the drift almost perfectly. Now, Catholic countries switched over right away, but Protestant Britain, well, they held out for almost 200 years. By the time they finally got on board in 1752, the error had grown to those 11 days they had to just erase. Okay, so we managed to wrestle the calendar back into line. But what about the physical world? Humanity's ambition didn't just stop at measuring time. Oh no, we turned our attention to conquering space itself, pushing higher and higher and higher into the sky. This number, 828 meters. That is the current peak of that ambition. It's the Burj Khalifa in Dubai, the tallest structure we have ever built. It's just this incredible testament to our ability to measure, plan, and build on a scale that's just mind-boggling. But its height does more than just impress you. It actually starts to bend your perception of reality. Because the Burj Khalifa is so ridiculously tall, you can literally experience a double sunset. I'm not kidding. Here's how you do it. You watch the sun dip below the horizon from the ground floor. Then, the second it's gone, you jump into one of the world's fastest elevators, shoot up to the observation deck, and you get to watch the exact same sunset all over again. You're actually moving up so fast that you catch up to the light. It's wild. And this isn't just some neat party trick, It has very real-world consequences. During Ramadan, Muslims fast from sunrise to sunset. Well, in Dubai, the religious authorities had to issue a special ruling. If you live on the 80th floor of the Burj Khalifa or higher, you have to wait 2 to 3 minutes longer to break your fast than the people down at the bottom. Why? Because from way up there, the sun is still in the sky. Our mastery of physical space, of building this high, literally changed the measurement of their day. Okay, we've measured the day, the year, the tallest heights we can possibly reach. But what about the stuff we can't see or touch? What happens when that human drive to measure everything turns toward the purely abstract? What happens when we try to count past infinity? So to even start to wrap our heads around this, we have to get two different kinds of numbers straight. First, there are cardinal numbers. These are the easy ones. They answer the question, how many? 3 apples, 10 people, you get it. Then you've got ordinal numbers. These tell you the position or the order of something. You came in first place, you're second in line. Now, for normal finite numbers, this distinction is not a huge deal. But for infinite numbers, it changes everything. So how do you count something that never, ever ends, like all the whole numbers? Well, mathematicians came up with a whole new kind of number to measure it. They called the size of that endless set Aleph null. Now, don't think of it as a number you can ever reach. Think of it more like the first label we could put on infinity. It's the size of a set that goes on forever, but is still countable, one by one, if you had an infinite amount of time to do it.
But here's where it gets really, really weird. It turns out Aleph null is just the beginning. It's the smallest infinity. Yeah, you heard me. Mathematicians proved that if you take all the numbers between just 0 and 1, and I mean all of them, all the infinite decimals, that set is actually bigger than the set of all the whole numbers that go on forever. There are more of them, which means some infinities are literally bigger than others. There isn't just one infinity, there's a whole ladder of them, each one unimaginably larger than the one before. It's just wow.
So we measure time, we conquer space, we count infinities. But why? What is the point of all this? What's the ultimate purpose of this relentless human need to measure and record and understand everything around us?
Maybe the answer is actually pretty simple. We measure to create a record, to leave a mark. It's our way of saying to the vast, silent emptiness of time and space, we were here. This is who we were. This is what we learned. It's our shot at a kind of immortality.
And there is no greater example of this than the Voyager Golden Record. This is our ultimate message in a bottle. Back in the 1970s, NASA sent 2 Voyager probes on a one-way trip out of our solar system. And attached to each one is this record, an attempt to distill our entire world, the ultimate measurement of ourselves, onto a single object that's designed to last for 1 billion years. Included with all the sounds and images is a message from the president at the time, Jimmy Carter, and it just perfectly captures this deep human hope. It reads in part, "This is a present from a small, distant world. We are attempting to survive our time so we may live into yours." It's just this profound message of hope cast into the cosmos, a final measurement of who we hope to be. From deleting days from a calendar to reaching for the stars to counting past infinity, our entire story is a story of measurement. It's how we find our place in the universe. So that really just leaves one final question for you. If you had to measure all of humanity, all of our art, our science, our pain, our joy, and put it into one single message to the cosmos, what would you say?